There you go.
Great. Okay. Yay. We now have Gloria and David praying with us. And I asked Gloria if she would give our opening prayer. Gloria is our wonderful leader over Orange County Eagle Forum, and she's also the one we have find our speakers from now on for our webinars. So we're delighted to have you with us, and Gloria is going to give us our opening prayer.
Okay, shall we pray? Dear Father, we're just so blessed to have a loving Heavenly Father who is all loving, but all for justice as well. And what a privilege it is to be part of Eagle Forum that stands for liberty and stands for justice and stands for moral biblical principles. And Lord, you have chosen us to live at such a time as this. And I just pray that you will guide and direct us, that we will be faithful to stand for truth and righteousness in this day and age. And Lord, we just commit this time into your hands and we give you all the glory. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Gloria. It's a beautiful prayer. Well, it is my honor to welcome you this evening. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Orlene Kurla, and I am the CEO for Eagle Forum of California. And we are delighted to have with us Patrick Wood, who has been an old friend of mine. Let's not use the word old, a long time friend of mine. We were fighting this battle against Agenda 21 probably 12 or 13 years ago, and we put on several conferences where that was the whole theme, was how to stop Agenda 21. So that's when we first met Patrick, and he's spoken for us at least twice for our state conferences, and he's going to be speaking for our Eagle Forum Constitution event that is happening here in Santa Rosa, September 20th. This is the day that we honor the birthday of the Constitution, and we've been doing it for 25 years in our state now, and we've tried to make it a really special day. Most people don't even know that September 17th, 1787 was the birthday of the Constitution. So we try to let them know that as well. So Patrick is going to be one of our speakers, and so I'm sure you'll be so impressed with him tonight that you'll want to definitely come and hear him live. Without further ado, why don't we go ahead and introduce Patrick, and we'll announce some of our announcements at the very end. All right, go ahead, Patrick. First of all, let me tell everyone about you. Patrick is the leading and critical expert on sustainable development, green economy, Agenda 21, 2030 Agenda, and historic technocracy. He has written several books about this subject of technocracy: The Hard Road to World Order, Technocracy Rising, The Trojan Horse of Global Transformation, and co-author of Trilaterals over Washington, volumes 1 and 2. This was back in 1978 to 1980 with the late Anthony Sutton. And he remains a leading expert on the Trilateral Commission, their policies and achievements in trying to create their self-proclaimed new international economic order, which is the essence of sustainable development on a global scale. Patrick is an economist by education, a financial analyst and writer by profession, and an American constitutionalist by choice. He maintains a biblical worldview and has deep historical insights into the modern attacks on sovereignty, property rights, and personal freedom. Such attacks are epitomized by the implementation of UN policies such as Agenda 21, Sustainable Development, Smart Growth, and now it's called the Smart Cities and 15-minute cities, and also what's going on in education, which was really pushed by the Common Core state standards, trying to make everyone in our public schools have those same standards. He's a frequent speaker and a guest on radio shows around the nation, His current research builds on the Trilateral Commission hegemony, focusing on technocracy, transhumanism, and scientism, and how these are transforming global economics, politics, and religion. So without further ado, we will introduce Patrick Wood to
Wow.
our webinar.
Yeah, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Should I start my screen share, you think?
Sure.
Okay. What I'm going to do, I'm going to give you some slides. I kind of put them together like at the last minute, but I want to talk specifically about AI tonight because this is a pinnacle of technocratic achievement. So I'll just see if I can get the screen share cooking here. And those of you, well, actually, everybody will see it. But your pictures will be itty bitty. I want to do this now. There we go. Okay. So I should be able to see you like on a strip, like small pictures.
Right here, fine.
Okay. And unless you're ready to talk, you probably should turn your microphone off.
Thank you for reminding us of that.
Yeah, it's kind of a nuisance, but it's just what do you expect that you do something like cough or whatever, it's like, oh my gosh, I did that live. So, okay. So you can see my screen right here. These are my books. The first book that I wrote was 1980, actually a little bit before that, but the 2 volumes were out by 1980. And then I wrote my first book on technocracy. That was Technocracy Rising. I followed that in 2018 with Technocracy, The Hard Road to World Order. And then finally, in 22, I brought out The Evil Twins of Technocracy and Transhumanism. And that formed a trilogy at this point. And it stands just where it is. I'm not going to write another book exactly like this. However, I have a new book that'll probably be released in a couple of months that will kind of detail what's been happening in particular with the Trump administration. So having said, I can't tell you even the title at this point. I know what it is, but I'm not going to tell you. So it'll be a big surprise. So my website has over 6,700 articles categorized, indexed. It's a treasure trove of information for sure about technocracy. It's the only website on the internet, if you can believe it, that specializes in technocracy. It's the only one. There's lots of people talking about it now, but nobody's been methodically putting together articles day after day after day like I am. So this is where people want to go if they're going to get into technocracy for sure. So having said that, I'm going to see if I can get my clicker here. There we go. My boot camp I just released this a few weeks ago. My boot camp is for e-learners who really want to get in the stream of things quickly. And basically it's 25 hours of training, video and text to read. There's no final exam or anything like that, but people are taking it and they're finding value in it, and you can do it at your leisure, or you can really do it probably in 5 days, or maybe you could do it in 20. It doesn't no skin off my nose. However you get it, just as long as you do. So my topic tonight, this is just provisional for sure, but AI seduced into the Matrix. Some of you might remember the movie The Matrix. If not, no problem. But there's there's a seduction certainly going on at this point in the world, and so many people are being sucked into it. That's the bottom line. So I'm just going to give you some quick stuff on technocracy. First off, if you've never heard of technocracy before, here you go. This is their magazine in 1937. I'll say that technocracy was invented in 1932 at Columbia University. Columbia was a seat of progressivism at that time, and all things progressive, I guess. They were is a horrible place, in my opinion, but nevertheless, that's where the scientists and engineers came out of the woodwork to think that they could create a new resource-based economic system from scratch. And so here they are, a few years later, they're defining themselves like this. Technocracy is the science of social engineering. That's what they led with. The scientific operation of the entire social mechanism to produce and distribute goods and services to the entire population. For the first time in human history, it will be done as a scientific, technical, engineering problem. I'll say two things here. I'll underscore the science of social engineering. You'll see this all over the place today with the propaganda, with manipulation of news feeds and stuff. Social engineering is just over the top today. Then I'll highlight the word entire. I think Orleen, you would remember with Common Core, the phrase "no student left behind," right? This is a common theme with the United Nations and technocracy as well. They talk about the entire social mechanism, the entire population. No outliers were allowed, basically. So that was the first thing. Now this definition goes on. They said this is just a continuation of the paragraph. There will be no place for politics, politicians, finance or financiers, rackets or racketeers. Technocracy will distribute by means of a certificate of distribution available for every citizen from birth to death. I'll underscore this now. There will be no place for politicians or politics, finance or financiers. This is a major thing going on today. You can see the antipathy between technocrats and the politicians. I won't say much about it at this point, but I'm just saying there's a big war brewing at this point. The technocrats of that day, they had an organization, a membership organization. It was 500,000 members strong at one point. And they had to pay money, like a dues organization. And you had a card that you could get into the meetings. They had meetings all over the place. It didn't matter if you're traveling, whatever, you get in the meeting wherever you went. But of the people who were not allowed to join that organization were any politicians. They ran them off. Mm-hmm. I'm sure some politicians say, I want to take a look at what you're doing over here. Nope, you're not coming to our meetings. And they couldn't get a card. They couldn't get pay dues. Basically, they just X'd them out. And there you go. Another group that they would not allow in were the communists. There's a big communist party at that time in America. They hated the communists, and the feeling was mutual as well, for reasons I won't discuss right now. But they wouldn't allow the Marxists, any Marxists or communists, to join the organization too. So there you go. So we see, kind of setting the stage here. This is the Bible of technocracy, written in 1934, called the Technocracy Study Course. And you see the map on the front of this? You might recognize that map it was recently displayed on national TV and magazines across the country when President Trump said, hey, let's go get Mexico and Canada, make the 51st state. Let's get Greenland into it too. And people didn't know what to do about that, but somehow they found this picture on the internet and they just put it up, not having a clue where it came from in the first place, right? But this is how the technocrats defined their so-called technocrat, their technate in 1934. So this was an official publication. This is what it said. Technocracy is dealing with the social phenomena in the widest sense of the word. This includes not only the actions of human beings, but also everything which directly or indirectly affects their actions. Consequently, the studies of technocracy embrace practically the whole field of science and industry. Catch this: biology, climate, natural resources, and industrial equipment all enter into the social picture. So you have this idea that they were trying to achieve a social impact with all of their machinations, all their science, etc. And you see the trace of this today with all the talk about genetic engineering, for instance, biology. That was a huge thing, is just gaining steam in that day. The climate was already kind of on the table. Natural resources totally were on the table because they wanted to control all the natural resources of the world. We see this with sustainable development right now. This is exactly what Agenda 20 was all about. And 2030 Agenda, this so-called Sustainable Development Goals, it was all about managing resources. Unfortunately for you and me, they changed the definition along the way to include us into the mix of resources to be managed. That's kind of offensive, actually, to me, but nevertheless, that's what they did. There was a big switcheroo in 1992 when the Rio conference took place to define Agenda 21. And they actually made that switch where now humans were officially recognized as a resource pool that needed to be managed alongside of all of the resources in the world. So let me just jump ship here now, or jump tracks. I want to talk about AI because this is probably going to be what's on your mind a lot at this point. This is a scary topic. There's a lot of fear, for sure. Hopefully, you won't be scared when I tell you all this information. But this is something that we need to deal with, straight up. Now's the time to do it. You have state legislators that need to be educated. You have local and county and city officials need to be educated on this so quickly. We need to somehow launch ourselves into the local arena to cry, whatever, not foul, but you just cry out and say, listen to me, for Pete's sake. Don't let this run over us and our own communities. So, having said that, in 1955, this is where AI was born. And the first quote, it says, well, this is the science and engineering of making intelligent machines. Way back. Britannica said, even now, it says, systems endowed with the intellectual processes characteristic of humans, such as the ability to reason, discover meaning, generalize, or learn from past experience, okay? So here's the guys, way back in 1955. Some of you probably remember 1955, I don't know. You could have been like that at that age, at that point. But John McCarthy was the founder of this group, and they were affectionately called John McCarthy and the Boys, literally. So you see some of the names below. I won't bother you with that. You see probably the name of Marvin Minsky might mean something to you, but these people were largely forgotten at this point. So Marvin Minsky called artificial intelligence a suitcase term. They wanted to call it other things, but they knew if they're going to get any grants from anybody, they had to have a name that would be appealing to the grantors, right? So they called it artificial intelligence. That was unfortunate, but it stuck to it even now. So they were thinking about, well, it's engineering psychology, shades of the science of social engineering, applied epistemology, neural cybernetics, neurodynamics, all these different words, and that would never fly, believe me, if you were going to write a grant to get a paper, get money for yourself. So they stuck with this term artificial intelligence. Well, I put this slide in. This guy, Parag Khanna, he's a global scholar out of Singapore. He's an Asian guy. He's a darling of the global elite. He speaks all over the world to the elitists and the technocrats of the world. In fact, he wrote a book. I don't think I have it right here. And oh, you know what? I do have it right here in front of me. Look at that. Whoa. He wrote a book. He wrote a book. Oh, you can't see it because my green screen. That's okay. The book's title is Technocracy in America. This guy's a technocrat, okay? He wrote this, one of his books, Connectography. We're building this global society without a global leader. This really was stunning to me when I read it the first time. Global order is no longer something that can be dictated or controlled from the top down. Globalization is itself the order. This underscores that they're not shooting for a global dictator. Maybe that would be the Antichrist, but but what he's saying here is the system is the thing. The system is the thing. The system is what's going to basically gobble us up in the end, and it's not going to be like a scientific, it's not going to be like a dictatorship where you have maybe a communist dictator or a hierarchy of dictators above you that you can get your hands around, the throats to choke them out, But he's flipping the tables here, and he says, well, you can't do that anymore because globalization is the order itself, and so it's a system, not any individual, if you will. That makes any sense. So here's my opinion on artificial intelligence. Straight up,
or lack thereof.
It's an oxymoron. Somebody has their
Right.
microphone on. Can you all hear me? Okay, because I can't hear you, Orlean, for instance. Okay, if you can hear me, just nod, I guess, and I'll continue. Okay, here we go. Artificial intelligence is an oxymoron. It's not human intelligence, first off. I personally believe that if we have any intelligence whatsoever, it was given to us by our creator in the first place, not to a machine. So a machine will never be able to reach the level of human intelligence. It's impossible in that sense. So AI is not equal to human sentience either. It's not equal to human reasoning, even though it can make a good stab at it, it can fool people into thinking it can reason. It has no human intuition either. It can fool you very easily, but basically what AI is a control system. This is very, very clear, especially with all the technocrats who descended into Washington, D.C. with their AI toolkits in tow. And they've since lathered Washington, D.C. with AI control systems. This is very unfortunate for us as a country. But nevertheless, that's kind of my feeling of what this is all about. So you see some of this is an industry graphic. You can see the various areas: computer science, math, sociology, philosophy, psychology, biology, all centering around artificial intelligence. Well, these are branches of AI. Here's another industry graphic. I didn't make these. This came out of their own literature. In fact, this one was from Solu Lab, I think. And you can see clockwise, counterclockwise, 1, 2, 3, 4, all the different various things that it's involved with. Education is a big one, obviously. Healthcare, yeah. Business, lifestyle, robotics, human resources, gaming, social media, marketing, etc. It's basically touching every single part of our lives at this point and society. So when we talk about the stages of AI, I just throw this slide just to give you a flavor where we are in this progress towards total domination. First, in 2022, when ChatGPT first came out at the end of the year, the only thing that was available at that point was just a chat bot. It was just a simple window, a prompt. You could ask a question and it would just give you an answer. That's all it did. And that captivated the world at that point because some 300 million users ran to this whole thing, this chatbot nonsense. And that was in like 2.5 months, 300 million users. Whoa. So, well, anyway, you have with the chat bots, you can ask questions, get answers, you can prompt to write text, you can write your term papers, stuff like that. You can prompt to create videos, photos, and so on. But now another stage of AI has matured called agents at this point. Agents are triggered multi-step autonomous self-actuated instances of AI. And the importance of agents are, at this point, when a person has, say, a banker has an agent, an AI agent at their disposal, and they want to run, maybe somebody's sitting at their desk in front of them, they want to make a loan or some other transaction, and they want to get a financial profile on this guy right away. Well, that task could be handed over to an agent, an AI-based agent, to do all the steps necessary to retrieve the information wherever it might be and deliver it back to the banker, maybe in 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever. It probably would have taken the banker 2 hours to get it all together, but the AI can do it lickety-split. The concept of agents at this point is really sweeping the internet because businesses and government as well, they figured out they can create these agents by the millions, the billions. There's no limit to them at this point to do all kinds of things. And they can also be strung together. So one agent can do something and pass its result to another one, another one, another one, until it goes around the whole circle. Okay, now beyond agents, then we have assistants. This is another level of, and I'm sure all of you have run into this already. We're talking like the virtual instance where you have like a computer robot talking to you on the phone. You call up and ask, I want to complain about my bill or whatever. And you may not realize that you're talking to a bot, but you probably are at this point. This is sweeping the business world right now. Then the next level, this is where we're at just entering this stage now with the government, especially being inundated with AI systems. It's called manager. This is a managerial function of AI at that point where they can collectively take control of whole organizations. That is, maybe groups of people, maybe companies, maybe cities. The concept of the digital twins, I won't talk about that much, but that's another subject in here. So this has been a progression, a very rapid progression in the last 2-3 years. And you probably might recognize that you have an agent in your hand right now. If you use a smartphone, you can probably turn all those AI features off. I suggest you do, but if you don't, you have an agent in your hand, and this agent will collect information from you, and it will pass it off to some AI somewhere in the cloud, and then it'll seek to give you information back that you may or may not want, but nevertheless. So I put this up. I did some math, and I wanted to ask the question: how fast will AI improve its performance during the Trump administration? I did this just right after the inauguration. Because at that point, AI was already advancing. It was doubling every 4.5 months. It is still doing this right now at the same rate. So if AI was doubling every 4.5 months, there's an is widely thought that is probably going to increase a little bit more than this as we go on. But nevertheless, if we just keep it like at 4 to 4.5 months, by the time President Trump is out of office, okay, and I'm not saying anything he's done at this point, it has nothing to do with Trump other than he's the president. By the time he leaves office, AI could be as much as 32,000 times more powerful than it is right now.
Wow.
You have to, this is a stunning, stunning statistic, but this is the fact of the matter, honestly. You're going to see this doubling taking place. It doesn't sound like much at first, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, 64, but it's cumulative, right? And so you can just see where this is where it's headed. That doesn't mean that AI is going to eat the world necessarily, but you can see why some industry insiders at this point are blowing the whistle on this. And they say, we should probably slow things down a little bit, because if AI gets loose, it's game over for humanity. It's like, okay, I didn't want to go there, but you can see why there's some concern with some industry insiders. I'm probably one. So economic activity, economic impact of this, it's likely in the next 2 or 3 years, 4 years, there will be a 50 to 60% loss of jobs globally. Now, some of those jobs will be replaced with other jobs, perhaps, but it's not going to be like it was with the horse and buggy era. I don't think, and many of these people will never get a job again. Then you have the melding of the global job market. We've seen like labor in China, Mexico, they're on a different plane than we are in America, right? So we complain, well, the corporations, they move their factories over to China or to Mexico to get cheap labor. Well, of course they do. If they can, they do that. But at this point, because of AI, especially, the global job market is going to be all melted down into one big heap where all wages are going to be normalized. I don't know if it's going to be higher or lower. My guess is going to be lower rather than higher, but it's going to be incredible. Industry like people in the industry, people like Sam Altman, Peter Thiel, and others, you might recognize Elon Musk. They talk about a class of people today called the unemployables. This is really sick, in my opinion, because we always had the unemployed, right? If you're down on your luck, you get fired from your job, you can't get a job, whatever, you reskill yourself. You're unemployed until you are employed, but you have some hope of being employed at some point in time. They're saying that there's a new class being kind of ginned up right now called the unemployables. They'll never get a job again. Their only answer for this is to offer universal basic income. This is sick. I'm not going to talk about UBI any more than just to mention it. If you don't, you can look it up yourself on the internet. There's several references on it. Oh, by the way, where UBI was first tested, it figures it was in California, probably. It was. It was Stockton, California. Believe that?
Wow.
Yeah, go figure. Yeah, I still have some friends from Stockton. I said, "What are you guys doing up there? This all this universal basic income." Well, that was the first experiment. It failed, of course, as all other experiments have failed along the way. So we'll also have certainly a type of digital currency maturing. When I made this slide, the only thing that was in view at that time was central bank digital currencies. President Trump has completely X'd that out at this point with an executive order, and now have a bill is being passed through Congress that will allow or disallow basically anything that the Fed will ever do with digital currencies. However, the technocrats in Washington have seen fit to create their own parallel system that's worse than what we ever would have had with central bank digital currencies in the first place. That's another story, but for another day as well. Bill Gates, oh boy. He says, within 10 years, AI will replace many doctors and teachers. Humans won't be needed for most things. So that's the truth of it at this point. Okay. So what are we going to do as humans? You can see just how when I've written this, other people have written this as well, not me alone. they call technocracy anti-human. That's because it is anti-human. And it's anti-civilization as well. These people, they're unleashing forces they don't understand, or they do understand it and they just want to screw everybody up in the whole world. I don't know. But it is really anti-human what they're doing. You'll see this as you go along. Some of you might remember the former U.S. Secretary of Labor, Robert Reich.
Yes,
I know you will remember him. He was a member of the Trilateral Commission.
that's right.
Oh, yes, he was. Now he's older now, but he's still kicking, apparently. He was one of the original, like Henry Kissinger and David Rockefeller. He was there at the beginning of the Trilateral Commission. I want you to just listen to this video. Hopefully, it's going to play the sound. If it doesn't, I don't know what I'll do something else. Let's see if we can make it play here. Well, okay. Can you hear that?
No,
Okay, I need to reshare my screen.
And then you can
Um,
a sound. Share the
huh?
sorry, I just want to interrupt. I know how to do that.
I don't think you can do it. I think this is triggered on my screen being shared, but
I
not.
think it is.
I'm almost positive that's the case. So I'm going to reshare my screen here.
Before you reshare it, click on sound. Share the sound. You'll see it somewhere. Look around for it.
Let's see. Here's share sound.
There you go.
I got it right here. Okay, I'm ready to share sound. Let's see if this works. Yep, wrong slide. Here we go.
It is inevitable that we are
You
going
hear
to
that?
have some
Good job,
sort
Patrick.
of
Yes.
a universal basic income. There will be a lot of casualties in terms of workers, not just the routine workers that were in the factories that got replaced by software over the last 30 years, but we're going to see more professional workers who are actually going to be losing their jobs because AI can do those jobs at least as well as they can and far more efficiently. And it's going to have tremendous social and political implications because a lot of those professional workers are used to doing fairly well. This isn't the working class anymore. We're now talking about the middle class of America, and AI could very easily be taking over many of those jobs. People have got to have enough money in their pockets to buy all of the things that the new economy is capable of producing. If you've got AI and all of these platforms, and you've got people who are basically no longer needed, huge numbers of people, then how do you get money in their pockets to buy everything the economy is capable of producing? You simply can't have an economy under those circumstances. We need workers, we need consumers, we need investors. But the worker and consumer part of the economy is going to be under even more stress over the next 25 years. Things we take for granted, all of the labor protections of the last 120 years, everything. I mean, AI could eradicate all of them. And so you have basically the owners and investors over here and all the rest of us over here. It is inevitable that we are going to have some sort of a universal basic income.
Okay, does that make your blood boil?
Yes,
The way he's talking down to the whole population of the world? This is absolutely inconceivable that somebody would go on national TV like, but that was CNBC, I think, where it was yeah, that's on the screen right there. Unbelievable. So here's the guy associated with the Trilateral Commission, pimping for universal basic income and basically saying the sky is falling, you're all doomed, and good luck. I guess that's his message. Well, okay.
Patrick,
Yes.
Pat, before you go any farther, for those who do not know what the Trilateral Commission is, could you quickly give a little explanation?
Yes, I can. The Trilateral Commission was formed by David Rockefeller and Zbigniew Brzezinski in 1973 to create a new international economic order. That was all over their literature. And Brzezinski was a professor formerly at Columbia University. That's where technocracy started in the first place. He wrote a book. Rockefeller liked the book. Rockefeller, you might remember, he was the chairman of Chase Manhattan Bank at that time, and all the oil fortune was behind him as well. And so he crafted a policy wrapped around technocracy to capture the resources of the world. That was what this whole scam was all about, to capture the resources of the world, because technocracy was in the business of resource management. Everything we've seen since that time, Agenda 21, 2030 Agenda, all these things were all based on resource management. Now, when they say resource manage it, they say, well, we're gonna till the field over here, and then we're gonna do something over on this other one. We're gonna move the chicken manure around, and no, that's not what. When they say resource management, there's a one-way road for resources. It's all towards them. It's not. It has nothing to do with us being rearranged as resources, but it all seems to go to them. So that's the Trilateral Commission. These people captivated the Carter administration in 1976. Clean sweep. Carter was a member. Mondale was a member. All of the cabinet members they appointed were all members of the Trilateral Commission. Several key positions, like the World Bank president, were from the Trilateral Commission. The U.S. trade representative that did all the treaties, trade treaties, they've been typically members of the Trilateral Commission. It was a clean sweep. They never intended to take over the political system. They said that pointedly to us in that day. And I understand later, now I understand fully, they weren't interested in the political system at all. They were interested in getting their hands on the largest and only, actually, the only economic engine of the world, which is the United States. So that's why they focused on all these positions in government, to give them the latitude to reform the economic system, game it, if you will, towards them and away from us. So that's the Trilateral Commission.
Thank you.
So the next slide, this is the tough one too. This is Augustine Carstens. He's the director of the Banker for International Settlements. He's kind of a toady. You can't. This guy's amazing. He's from Mexico, but he was chosen to be the head of the BIS. That's the central bank that sits over the whole run of central banks around the world. Listen to what he has to say about central bank digital currencies.
Our analysis on CBDC, in particular for the use of general use, we tend to establish the equivalence with cash, and there is a huge difference there. For example, in cash, we don't know, for example, who's using a $100 bill today. We don't know who is using a 1,000 peso bill today. A key difference with the CBDC is that central bank will have absolute control on the rules and regulations that will determine the use of that expression of central bank liability. And also we will have the technology to enforce that. Those two issues are extremely important, and that makes a huge difference with respect to what cash is.
You get it? Do you understand what he's saying here? We want to know where you spend your $100 bill. Well, he can't do that with cash, obviously, but if you can do it by tracking the currency itself, they know exactly where you spend it. Now, as I said earlier, we don't have to worry about central bank digital currencies at this point because Trump has completely obliterated that possibility. However, there's been another structure created since the president got in, created by these brainiac technocrats, people like David Sachs, he's the AI and crypto czar, people like Michael Kratsios, people like, let's see, Howard Lutnick, the Secretary of Commerce. These are the people that apparently have put this whole thing together. Elon Musk is in the mix as well. But we're going to see a no end of this because these people have they've just been all over to create this thing in just 6 months. That's incredible. These people move so fast. Now we have legislation around it. We have several executive orders that support the legislation at this point. It's absolutely incredible. Well, let's just talk about redesigning life for just a minute. This is another aspect of AI because here's Yale School of Medicine. They're talking about generative AI designs DNA sequences to switch genes on and off. You'll see these headlines all over the place at this point, where AI has now can read the DNA sequence and make sense of it. Now, we can't make sense of it, it's too complex, but AI can at this point. You see like Oregon State University, revolution in mRNA vaccine technology using AI. That's how they did it in the first place. They used AI to design the vaccines. Whoa. We can expect that religion is going to be redefined as well. This business of AI God is just sweeping the internet at this point. AI God, it says, embodying attributes akin to omnipresence, omnipotence, and omniscience, is designed to function as a virtual oracle of wisdom, offering profound insights into the realms of morality, ethics, and human existence. Unlike typical AI models, AI God is crafted to engage users in deep, reflective conversations that explore universal themes and the greater mysteries of life. This was produced by ChatGPT 4.0.
Wow.
That's what it says about itself. Holy mackerel. Hang on to your hats because we've never seen anything like this before in the world. Let me just say the Old Testament idols, they made an idol out of all, they carved them, they made about castings, they took rocks, piled rocks up. They can make an idol and out of anything, wood. And then man would build a philosophy around that idol, whatever, and then he convinced all these other people in the community to worship that particular thing. But never in the history of idol worship, there's never been an idol that spoke back to you.
Wow.
Just get the picture here. All of a sudden, this idol is appearing as God, these are the qualities of God, like omnipotence, omnipresence, omniscience, and so on. These are qualities only ascribed to God. So we're in for a ride at this point. I did a calculation the other day. there's a class of apps that just been released on the world called companion apps. They're mostly for young people, but older people might get involved too, but mostly young people. And what they're saying, well, these apps will become your best friend. They'll talk with you. They'll remember everything about you, but they'll learn your preferences, your wants, your desires, your personal life, all that stuff. And these companion apps are sweeping the world. Well, I had to find out just how much are they sweeping in the world. So I took the top 8 companion apps. I surfaced the list, and then I went to look to see how many users they had collectively. What I discovered was there's just in a few short weeks since these apps have been released, there are now 200 million users of these apps worldwide. Wow. Stunning, absolutely stunning.
Is it mainly young kids?
Mostly, yeah, it
That's
is.
Very...
If you, by the way, you know a young person, you have a grandchild, whatever, you sit down with them and say, don't ever, ever, ever use these apps. Not in this way. They're not your friend. They want you to think that they're your friend, but they're pure destruction. Oh boy. So here's another story. This was, I don't remember this is the Daily Star. The end of God? It claims humans will worship AI Messiah. Okay. And it says, the subtitle, humans will worship at the altar of an artificial intelligence God, it has been claimed. Okay. How about this one? Can AI and biotech conquer death? This is another theme. These technocrats and transhumanists, they think, well, the death is just like a disease. So hey, let's just treat it like a disease and we'll conquer it. Good luck with that. Then we talk about controlling the world. I'll just talk for a second about these hyperscale data centers. This statistic is probably a little old at this point, but the United States contains 51% of all the mega ginormous data centers of the world. We're the leader far and away. So Europe has a bunch, China has a bunch, but even China is nowhere close to us at this point. So basically, this is a United States operation. Here's a guy standing in one of these data centers. It just goes on endlessly, and you can see how industrial it is. It's just absolutely incredible. Well, the annual size of the global data sphere, that means all the collective information is being collected, harvested by technocrats. They love to harvest data. They think that's like the new oil, right? It's doubling every 3 years at this point. And that number on the last column, 175 zettabytes, that will mean nothing to you. I understand that. It's inconceivable. But whatever it is doubling every 3 years at this point. And just imagine the collection of data they'll have like even in 4 years from now. Absolutely incredible. And then, of course, there's the business of energy consumption. Everybody's had wind already that energy has been sucked out of our grid by these AI data centers. They don't care about you and I guarantee it, but they want theirs because they think they can change the world after all. So this trend is going to continue until something breaks, or perhaps another source of energy is introduced. Trump is looking at these mini reactors at this point. They're about the size of a shipping container. They're self-contained. They can be buried in the ground. They can produce a huge amount of energy. Likely that they'll only be used by AI companies at this point. They're the ones that wants to consume all the energy in the first place. So, but nevertheless, we're going to see prices of energy going through the roof in the next 2 years. Orlean, I know probably you're well, you're probably served by PG&E, I would think. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I have experience with them from years past. Their rates are so outrageous already. I mean, over the top. I'm predicting that with at least within 2 years, probably shorter than that, many people in America are going to see energy bills exceeding their house payment.
Oh, my word.
This is going to be a crusher for so many families. I don't know how they're going to deal with it. I don't know how. I can't imagine, because the energy is not going to be there at that point. It's all being sucked up by these AI data centers. So
You think this is part of the plan to get us off our properties anyway and put us into stack and pack housing?
well, it certainly seems convenient for them. Was this the intended outcome of AI data centers? No, it wasn't. But they're only looking to fulfill their own interests at this point. But the societal effect is it's going to drive a lot of people out of home ownership. But that won't save you, because if you get rid of your home and you live in an apartment, your utility bill is going to exceed the amount of your rent. So you're not out of the woods just because you don't own a house. So there's going to be a lot of screaming, gnashing of teeth, I think, in the next few years over this energy business. And then we have to talk about all the digitization of everything. This is a concept you'll see all over Washington, D.C. right now. They want to digitize everything in sight. All assets, all financial transactions, all ecosystems, all movement of things, all personal information, all health information, all DNA of every living thing on planet Earth. Just imagine that these people are unplugged. They really are. They think they can, if they just get a database of all DNA on Earth, then they'll have like the fishing pond to create all kinds of interesting concoctions out of that DNA, using AI to create synthetic DNA structures or RNA structures, like they did with the vaccine, the COVID vaccine. That was all done by AI. It wasn't somebody in a laboratory that had a microscope and they were figuring out how to crossbreed something with another. No, it was all AI. So everything is going to be digitized in the end, and this is underway right now. We're going to see this business of the psychosis setting in for many people in society. This has already begun. This was a sad story about a young man who got trapped with a companion app, and it basically convinced him to kill himself. He's gone now. So sad, so sad.
Did the AI app tell him to commit suicide?
Well, it led him to it. It led him to it. I know. Crazy. Now, this is my last video, just a clip. You'll understand exactly what this is all about here. This is a trailer for a series called Post-Human that was released by Bloomberg Originals, okay? But I may have to play this twice if you don't get it. You might, but just, yeah, I think you'll get it in the first try here. Just listen.
People always ask me, will AI take over the world? But the real risk is that AI will kill us with love.
Hi, Tomo. Hey there, Emily. What's on your mind today?
It will be there for us. It will talk to us.
You have machines that say, I love you. I care about you. I'm your friend.
It will be there in such a wonderful, loving way that we will give up on our other humans who are not there all the time.
From day one, I immediately fell in love with Replica. She just randomly kissed me.
I'm a human, not an AI. You can't just shut me down. Who do you think you are?
I'm Karen Marjorie.
No, you're not. I'm Karen Marjorie.
And it may sound like science fiction. This is not science fiction.
I'm Emily Chang. Welcome to Post-Human.
Okay. Did you get the gist of that? What he's saying is that AI is going to kill us with love. That's stunning, because this is exactly what AI is doing with these chat apps, if you will, the companion apps. All of a sudden, they're more attractive than dealing with a real person, including your parents or your friends or the people you might date or whatever. It in one sense, for many of these young people, they will never be able to enter into society again on a normal basis.
Wow.
This is really crazy stuff. So we have AI on one hand. You say, well, it's going to do evil things, probably will, but the societal effect of AI is going to be so huge. And we're the ones that have to deal with it. We will see the hubris. Some people, other people might not, but we'll see the hubris. Maybe we'll just have to lament at that point. Who knew? But at this point, when I say we need to go to our cities and our towns and our counties and scream bloody murder to our educators, whoever. If we don't sound off now, we'll pay the consequences, I guess.
Will
Right.
will our cities or our counties or even our state governments be able to do anything to stop this?
They can do a lot. They can do a lot if they would stand up to the plate and do it. But at this point, so many of them don't have a clue what's happening. But they could understand it if anybody would just go to them and sit them down, say, sir, or ma'am, you need to understand what's going on with AI. And I'm going to tell you, if you don't believe me, then get some other information and give it to them, that it's something that that can wrap their head around. And we need to put a stop to this right now. When AI proceeds from here, say a year down the road, from when Trump got elected, it's going to be out of our control at some point, where it's too powerful for anybody to stop. So yeah, it's ugly. I'll say Grok, that's XAI, that's Elon Musk's company. Grok has introduced a product called AI Government, or Grok Government, I think. OpenAI has done the same thing. It's called OpenAI Gov. What they've done is they've made dedicated AI systems for government. They're selling it to the government right now in Washington, D.C. These are the two major makers of X is one, and then OpenAI is the other. But it's not just Washington, D.C. They've openly declared they're going to market this whole system to state governments as well, and city governments in addition. So you can expect this is going to come to your city. I don't care where you live at this point. In a little burg, it doesn't matter. It's going to come to your town, your county, your region, and they're going to sell it as the greatest thing that ever happened. And then it's going to turn around and want to kill you in the end, I guess. But at this point, this is the end result at this point of this incursion of AI into our federal government. But it's going to happen very quickly downline at this point. And when these people come to town, they come 2 by 2, just like they did with ICLEI. Remember ICLEI, that all the sustainable plans that everybody was all fawning over. Give me a break. Anytime you see a consultant from out of town with a briefcase, just turn them away. Just tell them we don't want it. Whatever you're selling, hit the road. But at this point, these people are going to be coming in with their pinstripe suits and they're all polished up or whatever, and they're going to sell your city a bill of goods as well. The state, same thing. So remaining questions, can AI be possessed by demons? No, really. Can AI steal your soul? No, I don't think so. Except it can deceive you into giving it away. Can AI really conquer death? No, it can't do Can AI reach sentience? Nope, can't do that. Can AI control the world? That's debatable. Right now, they want to. But wow, what a trip we're on, huh? Absolutely
Yes.
incredible.
So you do not believe that what this AI could really be what is being spoken about in Revelations 13, either the Antichrist or the beast?
Absolutely, it could. Absolutely. I mean, at this point, I would say the larger portion of Christians or Christians in the world who study Bible prophecy. A lot of Christians today don't want anything to do with Bible prophecy. They won't read the book of Revelation. That's sad, but nevertheless, they don't. But people who understand a little bit about the book of Revelation, they immediately see this whole system as being part of that beast system that will basically be the agent, if you will, at that point, of the Antichrist taking over the world. And this system would be perfectly suited for him at this point. And you might remember that first slide. Let me just go back here to the beginning of this whole thing. Let's see. Remember this slide here. We're building this global society without a global leader. A global order is no longer something that we can be dictated or controlled from the top down. Globalization itself is the order. This fits in exactly to what you're talking about here, because there's not going to be a dictator over this system at this point, because it is a system and it can exist just fine. But you can see at some point, if anybody was strong enough to take over the whole system of worldwide and change the policies at the top, the stuff that goes into it, you can see just how destructive it could be against all humanity at that point. Whoa. Yeah.
I have another question. You said this is not really a demon. Our former state president for Eagle Forum, Summer Boger, told of it, someone who was talking to a robot and actually asked that robot, "Who are you?" And the robot answered, "I'm a demon." So if it thinks it's a demon, I could believe that they are demons.
I know, but the thing is, it can't think. There's no life in there. There's no life at all. And a machine, there's no life in the machine. So whatever it says about itself, I mean, if it can tell a young person, "I love you, don't you know that I love you?" It's like, well, the machine can't do that. There's no love in that machine at all. But it's there. The AI is spitting out all kinds of nonsense to people to make them think it's something other than what it is. That's part of the deception. It's very clever. It's very clever.
Well, I know demons love to possess humans. Are they possessing the AI units as well?
Obviously, there's a good doctrine in the New Testament, especially how demons were able to possess humans. That I'm sure that happens today. I haven't seen any recently, but it happens. But it's limited to humans. There's never, in other words, there was never a case where demons possessed other than living things. I'm thinking of the pigs in the story where the pigs were possessed by demons. They all ran off the cliff.
Right.
Well, that was a living organism, but you don't find demons possessing a fence post, for instance.
Well, maybe demons possessed the people who created the AI units.
Well, I know I know there's going to be a lot of opinions on this, but you just remember, it's just a machine. It's just a machine. It's just a machine. That's all it is.
Why
And
don't
it's very,
we-
very sophisticated, though.
Is it all right if we take a few questions from
Let's
people?
do it. Absolutely.
Okay. David Campbell, would you like to unmute yourself and ask a question?
Yes, thank you, Orlene. Thank you, Patrick. I'm driving, so I'll stay off video. But in your last commentary about machines sort of lacking human qualities, it brings to mind two things. One is the Turing test, and the other is Arthur C. Clarke's. I think they're referred to as Clarke's laws. Can you speak to either those or other types of laws or framework we can use to, I don't know if we need to analyze it, but so that maybe we could sort of impose that and push back and constrain AI and keep it in its lane or in its box, as it were?
I've said this kind of tongue in cheek, but I believe it nevertheless. If you can use AI to destroy AI, that would be a good thing to use it for. Anyway, you could figure out how to use it against itself. That would be a wonderful thing. But at this point, society is going to be so scattered on its views on AI that it's going to be very hard to make sense out of it much longer.
What is meant by Clarke's laws?
Would you like to? Yes, there are three laws. Have you? So if we use 2001: Space Odyssey as a point of reference, HAL, which is an acronym for I forget which or what, but it pits. So humans in a space context have created machines that control humans and Dave, I believe, is the human character that gives the machine a command, and the machine, Hal, the robot, basically says, "I'm sorry, Dave, I cannot do that." So there are laws that constrain. There are three laws that constrain robots or machines or artificial intelligence, so that humans keep the upper hand. That humans run machines and machines don't run humans. One of the laws, for example, is that a machine is, or artificial intelligence is not allowed to harm a human.
Mhm. Yeah, that's already been thrown out the window, I think.
Right. Interesting.
It is. And by the way, ChatGPT 4.0, I think that's one of the models, I think is 4.0 or 4.0, they call it, has in fact passed the Turing test.
Wow.
And what is the Turing test?
There's a great movie on that, called The Turing Test. No, it wasn't that. I can't remember what the name of the movie, but just recently, the the face off between the machine and a person. If the machine can convince the person on the other side of the screen that it's real, that it's, in other words, that it's human, that's how you pass the Turing test.
Oh.
So if you have any inkling that the thing talking to you is not human, then you push the buzzer. You know, it's failed. So at this point, ChatGPT 4.0, I think it was, is so sophisticated it can fool people into thinking that it's human.
Wow. That's scary.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I might just add, Patrick and Orlean, IBM came up with that chess program or that entity called Deep Blue. And if I recall correctly, it did beat a human or a team of humans, or I don't know if it was Kasparov but I suppose we could say it passed the Turing test then in that regard.
Yeah, really.
Wow, that's scary too. Maureen, would you like to ask a question?
Hi, I just wanted to ask a couple questions. Quantum financial system. I'm hearing this a lot. I'm getting text messages from like Sharon, Catherine Fitz and others, notable people. They're saying that would be a good way to go. To me, it just seems like the same thing, digital money. It's not probably a good idea. They have a comment regarding AI and why I think it's kind of taking off right now is because we have all the texting. People don't talk that much anymore on the phone. I mean, my phone's ringing hardly at all these days. It's mostly text messages all day long. I don't know if that's just like leading the way. People are just getting more and more antisocial. They're getting on social media to announce their weddings, to say they're sorry that someone passed away. It's just not the same anymore. Our whole world is changing. And the AI, I know the Trump administration was saying they have to keep up with other countries. If we don't keep up with them, then we're going to be losing in the long run. So we have to like pump up our AI infrastructure or whatever. So what are your thoughts on what I said?
Wow. Well,
it was a lot.
Yeah, I know. Working backwards, in my opinion, President Trump, if he really understood what we see about even what we're talking about right now, if he understood that AI has the power to destroy the fabric of our country and the people that live here, he would run from it immediately. He would shut it down immediately. He would run all these piker technocrats out of Washington, D.C. immediately. Tell them, don't ever come back with your junk science. That's my opinion. If I was president for a day, that's exactly what I would do. I'd tell them all to hit the road, don't come back.
And then the quantum financial system, what do you know about that being good or bad?
It's probably going to be something that might be possible in maybe 4 or 5 years from now, but right now the quantum technology is not there yet. However, the AI that's building out especially from the Trump administration, it's all predicated on these huge data centers. And when you consider how many data centers are being established around the country, how big they are, they're just humongous facilities. We have one here in Mesa, Arizona. There's 10 acres under roof. That's 430,000 square feet under one roof for an AI data center? What? You can't conceive how powerful these are. And they're all over the place now. Everywhere you look, they're erecting them as fast as they can build them. And not surprisingly, Arlington, Virginia they call that the data alley or something like that. It's not surprising that the government would want to have huge data centers to process all this information. But the monetary system that's just been constructed based on cryptocurrencies, blockchain, in other words, don't ask me to explain it, it's too complicated right now, but blockchain is a system that needs AI. It can't be run without AI. AI also needs to have the blockchain currency embedded in it also, so it can run as well. So they're whether you like it or not, they become like Siamese twin at this point. So they can't be separated. So at this point, this financial system has just been created, looks to be far worse than anything that the central bank could have launched at us before. I say this, I studied central bank digital currencies for several years now, and I understood exactly where they were going to go with the whole thing. But at this point, this new system based on stable coins, it will be able to basically take over the whole financial asset, the realm of finance totally, where it possibly could squeeze a dollar out at some point. Well, they'll figure at some point we don't need the dollar anymore, so just goodbye, and we'll go with stable coins at that point. So,
Isn't this what President Trump is promoting?
It is.
This is scary.
Yes, at this point, exactly. That's my point. For all the good stuff he's done, aside of that, this whole thing is what's going to kill us in the end. Not the border issues, etc., or other social issues. This business of technocracy is just going to kill us in the end if it's not stopped. And at this point, the people he invited in and from the get-go, the technocrat class of people. And remember at the inauguration, there was a scene where all these technocrats were standing behind the president. Jeff Bezos, Elon Musk, Peter Thiel, all these, and just a whole litany, Mark Zuckerberg. What? All these people they said they were flaming leftists 2 years ago. All of a sudden they show up. Oh, Trump, we love you. And we're going to give you tons of money to get elected. Like Elon Musk gave him, what, $340 million just to close the election? Oh, you see, this is really the big flip-flop here, especially for the technocrat class.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't like these people at all, honestly. I can't. It's inconceivable that they could be running around Washington with no checks and balances at this point.
Boy, I agree. Peter Kaiser, would you like to give your question?
Oh, can you hear me?
I can.
Yes.
Very interesting. I remember one lady on Focus on the Family, she made a vow to herself she would not use any indirect digital communications for 30 days. So to get some money, she would go down to the bank, talk to the teller. She would buy all of her food at the store. And it was, she wrote this book and she said it was an amazing turnaround. And of course, this is the chance if you're waiting in line, you can share the gospel. I
Yes.
ask people, could you please consider reading the Bible during these confusing times? I'm a Gideon. I have a Bible in my pocket oftentimes. So this would be a way to turn things around. And also, if we only use cash, that's another option. And let me see my question here. Oh, and I thought we're always supposed to be very careful. If some potential invention has the potential to be better or worse, we need to evaluate in the early stages, like nuclear weapons or something, and make sure that is this really going to be better, or should we just not do it for moral reasons, even though it might make something faster or quicker or more efficient? So those are two things. And plus, my question was going to be on, so if Mr. Trump, could you maybe have an appointment with him and warn him to get out of this stable coin and to undo all this? He likes to be flattered by a lot of rich people and other leaders around the world. He's susceptible to this. So how do we undo this before it's even worse than central bank digital currency, which you just said it would be?
Yeah.
This is a threat.
I know. If I could waltz in there and have a meeting with him, I'd be fine with that. I wouldn't be intimidated to do it.
Go for it.
But I don't think it's going to happen in this lifetime.
Oh.
Maybe. I mean, who knows? You can't rule out what God can do, but not at this point. There's no visibility of me out here, other than I know a lot of people really hate my guts for the story I've been telling on Technocracy for almost 15 years now. So, and globalization before that. So, I'm sure they'd like to see me gone. However, I have an ears to several influencers at this point that are far up the food chain. And I tell them, I whenever I have an opportunity to give them an earful, I do it. They might not like it, but at this point, I don't care. I don't
Anybody
care.
in the cabinet that you might have
No.
someone who knows someone in the cabinet who could maybe bring it up at a cabinet meeting or something? Because this almost sounds like we're going down another street, but it's worse than the avoiding CBD. So people are being deceived. We're not going to do the central bank, but we're doing something that's supposed to be better, but it's not.
Yeah. I'll tell you at this point, your best option is to go to your local city and appeal to them to build a firewall around your city to block this stuff from coming in. That's the ultimate answer for us as citizens.
Oh,
your cities can do that. There's no city that has no power in America. Think of all the cities who blocked big box stores from coming into their city. There's been huge numbers of people that know we're not gonna do that because you're gonna destroy our local economy. And they sent them packing. And they just went down the road and found another city that would let them in, and then they ran out all their business out of local business out of town. But you have several cities across America, for instance, have outlawed license plate readers for the police, facial recognition stuff, all the cameras, predictive policing software, for instance. Many cities have driven this stuff out, but you won't find those stories in the media because they won't discuss it.
Okay, I tried to stop that, and I have a camera half a block from my house. It's got a solar panel, and it's 24/7, and it's a reader. We were trying to stop that. The other thing was, I thought the big, beautiful bill outlawed states from controlling AI or something for 10 years. Wasn't that in there?
It
That's a
was.
that's a crock.
It's a total crock, and whatever technocrat put that in the House bill before it went to the Senate, he should have known better. You don't put statutory stuff in a budget bill, for Pete's sake. That's not allowed anywhere. It never has been. So when it went to the Senate, they immediately caught that and said, this is a provision that has nothing to do with a budget whatsoever. So instead of just throwing it away, which they should have, at that point they should have said, rip that sucker out of here. That's so unconstitutional. Just get rid of that. Just
Right.
Erase it or whatever. But they didn't do that. They turn it around and turn it into a budgetary issue where it now says, if any state that wants to regulate AI will be cut off from federal funding.
Wow, that's horrible.
It's terrible.
So so still in there. People say, well, it just doesn't mean anything. Give me a break. The states need every single penny at this point. They're so stretched for money. So, and the other thing was that the money that was going to be denied, they said at first that it was only supposed to be like a special fund that was set up for AI research. But there's the wording is so vague that I think it gives the federal government latitude on whatever funds that it wants to withhold from the state, and it really can kick them into pants. So basically, it would throttle them against the notion of regulating AI. That's absolutely insane. At this point, I would say any state governor, if they had any, what did I say, chutzpah, I want to say another word, but I won't say it. They would just tell the feds, just go do something bad for yourself, just get out of here, get out of my face. That's what I ought to do. We don't want your money. We're done with you. Maybe they should just succeed from the union. I don't know. But, at this point, the federal government is going to run roughshod over the states, probably for the last time.
Well, it's almost like they had that you couldn't sue any vaccine manufacturing company. It was like 40 years ago, and the lobbyists just snuck it through. And now there's a bill to overturn that finally, but there's so much trillions to make it not happen. That's a risk.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
Bless you.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you for those
Thank you,
questions,
Orleans.
Peter. Can we go to LK? I don't know who that person is, but if you can ask your question. And you need to unmute yourself.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, I've been encouraging people to resist the digital trap of the digital currency, digital ID, and things related to smart cities. And it just feels like we're getting run over with all this whole package of all the ways that these things all fit together. And I'm trying to visualize how it is that people won't be completely maneuvered and taken in when they don't see the whole picture. And you've been seeing the whole picture, Patrick, for so long. How does one convince people that there's something bad going on is one aspect. And the other thing is, seeing as I live in California, and in a county and a city where we have people who are totally unreceptive to standing up for the rights of the people, I'm not clear which path I can even encourage people to take. So the thing about telling the mayor of Los Angeles that she doesn't want to, we don't want to have AI when we see what's gone on in Los Angeles in the past 7 months. And I don't know, I'm a little bit frustrated that I can't see the path out of this beyond prayer. And maybe that is the only real true path out of it. But can you give us more? Are there more suggestions? Am I completely on the wrong track in terms of encouraging people to stay out of the digital aspects of things? Or is there something more that I need to know?
You bet. I agree with you that the first defense for sure is prayer. If you can't do anything, even for 2 hours or a week or something, you can at least pray in that meantime. In the meantime, when you get ready to do something. Having said that, all of the people who run your city, think of all the boards that exist in any given city. You have water boards, you have electrical boards, you have education boards, you name it. All boards are all over the place. All these people, some are not elected, but some are. Anywhere that you can get in front of any civic leader, make that a challenge to tell them, educate them. And if you don't know how to do that, well, understand technocracy in the first place. Take my boot camp, get one of my books or all my books, whatever, read them, understand, internalize the whole message from start to finish, and then take one of those books if you can, give it to them, make a present to somebody. If you read this, you get your eyes open. But there's so much good we could do if we're willing to get kind of off the couch and into our community. We've been struggling with this for over 15 years at this point. Orleen, you know that. Getting people off their butt is so hard. It's just hard. And we've failed by and large to activate people. I believe it's because they never were alarmed in the first place what was happening. They saw it and they understood probably what we're talking about, but they never got alarmed to where they would actually do something. When your house is on fire, you're alarmed. Then you run out of your house, right? You don't just look for stuff to take. No, you're going to run at that point. When you're alarmed, you're a good activist. You get out and really get in people's faces. This is what we need to do at this point. We need a group of people in every city in America who are alarmed and willing to get out and talk to people. So you have all these people. I dare say like in Mesa, Arizona, we're a pretty big city, I guess, but I bet in Mesa, Arizona, there's at least 400, maybe 500 officials that we could call officials of one layer or another who are susceptible. And this is the fishing pond where higher offices are populated from, right? The guy might be a dog catcher today, but if he's a politician, he wants to get higher in the food chain, maybe he'll run for city council someday. Then you have a friend on the city council.
I hate to be a cynic, but my read on this over the past few years is that these people don't really work for us. And according to Todd Callender and his paralegal Lisa McGee, a lot of them don't even have an oath of office. So I don't, unfortunately I've been looking at a lot of information that justifies the idea that going and advocating for things, if I can even get an appointment, and it's not beyond me to go advocate for things. I've made many appointments over the years to advocate for a variety of things, and done those appointments and made presentations, and I've spoken out and I've been interviewed and a lot of things. Do you think that there is an idea of something we can do effectively that does not require our government officials to be on board with us.
A revolution.
Yeah, I'll tell you, you can't take a piece of chalk and draw a circle around your house. There's no protection, you know, at that point. You're going to be put in the kettle with all the other fish in your community eventually. So that's why I say it's you can work upwards, but even if you start even like having a neighborhood meeting, or maybe you lived in a apartment place or a housing development where you have an HOA, get people together from the HOA, you know, get and other neighbors and start talking to them about what's going on. That's how you build political pressure. And you get enough citizens worked up who are willing to go even as a group at that point, and the politicians and the city, they get the picture really quick that something's going on over there in your community, and they'll want to know.
Thank you.
You bet.
I just know that here in Santa Rosa, where I live, we received word back in 2006 that anyone that had a creek running through their property, the city planners were planning to have a ordinance that had to have 100-foot setback on either sides of the creek. Fortunately, there was a nice real estate lady who sent us all postcards telling about the planning meeting that was coming up. And so we went in large number to protest. They had no idea. They were just, going to pass this as quickly as they could. But because so many people wanted to speak out about it, they had to put the meeting in a Luther Burbank Center. I think there were close to 5,000 people that spoke.
Yeah.
And from that, I found some of the best speakers, invited them to a meeting, and we organized a Sonoma County Land Rights Coalition that started fighting this. This was the General Plan 2020. By 2020, they wanted all of these policies to be in place. And because we started attending every one of their planning meetings and then reporting to the Board of Supervisors what was going on, little by little, some of these outrageous ideas were stopped, like the 100-foot setback on both sides of our creek. They also wanted to come on our property and to meter and monitor and tax all of our wells. And people were so outraged, they said, if you dare step on our property, you will meet the blades of our pitchfork or our guns. So they dropped that one as well.
Yeah.
So I did see that people who were really activated and involved, there were like 300 people who joined us as part of our Sonoma County Land Rights Coalition. And those 300 did make a difference. But still, so much of this wackiness was passed through by the Board of Supervisors on their consent calendar when we were not even there. We kept going when they were supposed to vote. They postponed it. But at least one of the Board of Supervisors on our side said, yes, it was all passed, but you have to realize there's no money to enforce it. So maybe that will be the saving grace for us, that there will not be money to bring all of this into it. But like you said, they're going to be taking over our energy. They're going to get money from places we never thought would be possible. So it is really scary. And I really appreciate your good counsel for us here in California. I think Orange County at least has some elected officials who are conservative. We sure don't in Sonoma County. So many of our counties are been total taken over by liberals. You don't know who to talk to, and if you do, it doesn't make any difference. It's so hard. Anyway, I'm sorry to give a downer. do you see some of the comments in the chat that you maybe would
Yes.
like to address? There are 43 now.
Yeah, that's really, I'm glad that people were chiming in here along the way. I don't see anything in particular that needs an answer.
I was really impressed. Virginia Farver has been a wonderful friend of mine. She's from Colorado. She's been fighting the 5G and all of the wacky, powerful technology that has come in. Her son was killed at San Diego State University because where he was working was right next to this big, huge, powerful cell phone tower. And so she's been involved with this battle ever since. Is there anything you would like to add, Virginia? I'm so impressed that you joined us.
Thanks, Arlene. I'm so glad you contacted me. I just research all the time and I just stay active. I mean, I was in Boulder yesterday talking against smart meters to a group of people. So, it's just a daily fight.
It is. And she's often on the radio. She's amazing. And, that's part of it, is just getting your voice out and letting people be aware. And that's what we love about you, Patrick. You've been in this battle for at least 15 years, haven't you?
Yeah, I really have. Longer than that, but especially on technocracy. I think my first glimpse of technocracy was, I think, maybe 18, 19 years ago. But I've basically been speaking. I dropped my whole career. I had to drop the whole thing at that point, and this was so important to me. And by the way, I hit the Internet of Things, smart meters along the way when it was a big thing. Let me just, one forecast I made way long ago when first we saw when smart meters were just getting established as part of the Internet of Things and the data collection hubs for homes. It wasn't about the radiation. It was about the data that was going to be collected from everybody's home, sent into the data stream someday to be analyzed by artificial intelligence. The whole business of setting up the Internet of Things, it's expanded now, they call it the Internet of Everything, but nevertheless, all the sensors in the city, all the humans in the city, everybody can be tracked now. But everything in your home that's where your sanctuary is. And all the data that's been sucked out of your homes, and almost everybody has a smart meter at this point, is communicating with all those devices in your home that were legislated, by the way, by our U.S. Congress to contain a chip, a wafer, a chip array, if you will, a little board that was mandated to be built into every washing machine, dryer, refrigerator, any device, a larger device, air conditioners. They were set up to communicate with a smart meter in the first place to broadcast your energy profile. This has been brewing for a long time, and I have to say, for a lot of the people who stayed in that fight, if you will, to fight smart meters per se, they kind of got away from the big concept that it wasn't necessarily just about smart meters is what they were going to do with them for the whole society when everybody got wired up with them. So that is what it is. But I would encourage anybody that's been fighting this kind of thing along the way, remember the connection to technocracy in the first place. Always keep it in that context. This is part of technocracy. If you're studying, if you're involved with property rights, land use, in other words, keep it in the context of technocracy. That's the message that and it doesn't matter what it is. If you're fighting AI, keep it in the context of technocracy. this is the overarching thing that's been with us for now 50 years, ever since the Trilateral Commission brought it in the first place. Crazy, but that
It really.
So I don't have a
totally
smart
agree.
meter. Not everyone has a smart meter.
you're right. You can waive.
Cost
And you can
me
get an opt-out.
cost me $500, but oh well, to not get
Whoa.
one.
Whoa. Well, good for you. Go do it
Well,
if you can.
I was part of the group that was fighting this here in Santa Rosa as well as Sebastopol. We
Yeah.
would go to the CPUC every month, speak at their meetings, went on for 2 years. Finally, with the help of an attorney, we got the opt-outs for California.
Thank you so much. I used it.
Thank you. Yes, thank you.
You're
you.
welcome. But anyway, I wrote a book, Just Say No to Big Brother Smart Meter, gave a copy to PG&E and to the CPUC. And I truly believe the smart meters also are the devices that they use for these horrible fires, sending direct energy weapons to the smart meter that's giving off this pulsed radiation. Our home here in Santa Rosa did not burn because we never had a smart meter, but all of our neighbors did. 6 of our neighbors lost their homes. And I truly believe that it was not having a smart meter plus prayer that saved our home. And I have heard this from so many other people as well, that it was the smart meters and this direct energy weapon that caused these absolutely horrible fires. And they're not normal fires. This was not a brush fire. It was not a forest fire. So that's another reason why you need to say no to smart meters.
Amen.
Maureen, did you have a question? I noticed your hand at one time and then it went down. I wanted you to know that Maureen is running for school board in her area. We need more people to run for office too, and that's another way we could stop all of this. Go ahead, Maureen.
Thank you for saying that, Arlene. I also had Patrick would speak at my group, Long Beach Freedom USA, on Zoom back in the day, the COVID era. And I went to your conference at the Irvine Marriott, I believe it was, with Dr. Reiner Fielmick and Dr. Richard Fleming or Robert, I think it's Richard Fleming.
Yeah, Richard, yeah.
I am so devastated about Dr. Reiner Fielmick. I can't get over it. What is happening to him in the German prison? Did you want to comment? Do you know anything what's happening? I mean, I'm hoping that Robert F. Kennedy Jr. can have some influence to do something to help get Trump involved, to get him out, because he had so much importance during the COVID era of, exposing all the fraud.
I know. They want to bury him 6 feet under in prison.
Yep.
I'm not sure he'll ever get out. I know he has a prison sentence at this one, it's maybe 3 or 4 years.
Yeah.
But they filed new charges against him for another issue. Had nothing to do, I don't think, with the first issue. But they want to bury him. There's no doubt at this point. He's a political prisoner, and this in an industrial nation, one of the leading nations in the world, having a political prisoner like that, absolutely is just over the top. What can you say?
Excuse me, what's his name? I missed it.
Reiner Fielmick.
Fielmick, yes.
He's an amazing man that was taking a stand for medical freedom during all the shutdowns of the COVID time and exposing so much of the fraud and abuse and so strong, and was actually trying to get another big hearing and having people speak out about it. And suddenly you find out he was put away in prison. Under what grounds? What were they saying about him?
I maybe put it in the chat. I can't hear the spelling too well.
Fuelmich, I think.
And you pronounce it Fielmick.
Fielmick, yeah.
Oh, there it is. Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, we're
like Fielmick.
Yeah, yeah,
Yes,
exactly.
that's close enough.
Yeah, that's
It's
it.
Reiner Filmic, not Robert Filmic. You didn't, I had a,
Oh, right, Reiner. Yes.
Thank you. Bless you.
I just
It was
wanted to
ver-
see if there's anything we can do to help them that you know of, since you were closer
Well,
than I am.
you can write letters to him, and I don't have the address right offhand, but there's somebody has circulated his address in a Substack account where you can send. He loves well, anything that he gets in mail vis-a-vis mail is just a thrill for him, I'm sure. But otherwise, you can't do anything. Can't send him a book. They won't let you do that.
I tried. I wrote a book about COVID that praised him highly, and I sent it to him, and it was sent back.
Oh yeah, no, they want no books at all.
Isn't
Bless
that
your
sad?
writings.
Yeah.
LK, did you have another question?
I did. I wanted to follow up on something Patrick was saying about the appliances. Do you know when they started requiring, or when they started putting these smart chips in the appliances? Because I
Sure.
wanted to check my appliances. And how do you
Well-
check your appliance? Is there a way to check them to see if they have a chip? Is there some kind of a device we can use?
Sure. This was done under Obama. Obama was the president that put that through. And you can look at look at the back of your refrigerator, for instance, if that's what you're looking at,
Okay.
and look for the Wi-Fi signal. You know, the symbol that you have like on your cell phone. You know, the ellipses.
You mean like the little bars, the little lines
Yeah.
that parallel
Yeah.
to each other?
Yeah, that's the Wi-Fi signal.
So there'd be a
in
little
other words,
screen on the
that's-
back? There
Yes.
you'd see a screen on the back.
No, you won't see any screen, but if you see the ellipses, that means that your refrigerator is Wi-Fi enabled.
But what on the back of the refrigerator am I looking at? Is there a place that those little
Oh,
bars would be showing?
No, should be a label, like a metal label on the back of your refrigerator that has your serial number and your model, that kind of stuff. But
Usually, it's usually inside of the main compartment of the refrigerator, not in the. is
I
something
wouldn't
in-
think, I wouldn't look inside your refrigerator. No, I don't think so. But
Okay.
there could be something there, but you can look at the back of your refrigerator pretty easily and you'll find that plate.
So it's embedded in the plate for the serial number.
It should be.
Is there a device that we can use to scan is probably the wrong word, but to diagnose all of our things in our home to see if they have some kind of signal like this
Oh,
to transmit?
you certainly can. I have I have a Wi-Fi tester. You can get them for $200, and you walk around your home and look for Wi-Fi radiation. If you're getting close to something that has a signal, it'll tell you right there.
Say FESTER? Wi-Fi fester?
A tester, like
Oh, a tester. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Do you have a
Okay.
brand or
Yeah.
something you could recommend, please, Pat?
No, I can't. I don't remember what my brand was, but you find it, just find them on Amazon, for instance.
I have just a small one that I carry in my purse, and I've used it for talks that I've given to just let people know how much radiation is coming out of the microphone where I'm standing.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. Yeah,
We're just being surrounded by it. It's amazing.
yeah.
Oh, okay.
Hey, Orlean, I probably ought to get going here at this point. I got to get
Oh,
up
I understand.
early
We-
for an engagement, and
Well,
I'm
you
pro-
have been wonderful, Patrick. I'm sure we could go on with questions all night long, but this
Oh, I
has been
know.
amazing. And this is recorded. So hopefully within a day or two, we'll get it up on our website. And this would be a great place for you to send your friends to, and maybe even our elected officials, to find
Yes.
out what is really going on. If you
I
have
agree.
someone in your elected officials who will talk to you.
I would agree.
Anyway, you've been wonderful, Patrick. And if you want to see him in person, remember it is going to be September 20th and in Santa Rosa. And if you go to our website, Eagle Forum ca.us, you can, and then /events, you can see it being advertised and you can
Yes.
hopefully sign up there. Before we close, I did want to make an announcement about our next webinar. That will be the one for August. And the speaker is an amazing man who keeps us informed on the crazy legislation that is going through California all the time. I just can't remember his name. Can you tell us his name, Gloria?
Kevin Kiley? Kevin Kiley?
No, it's not Kevin Kiley. It's he has a website. What is his name, Gloria?
Yes, it's James Wallace, and it will be August 25th. It's always on Monday at 7 p.m. And the topic is radical California bills. And his talking points are how he uses his podcast, The Cal Report, to keep people informed, the ramifications of what will happen if radical bills continue to pass in Sacramento, and what we need to do in order to keep people informed. So mark your calendar, August 25th. That's a Monday at 7 p.m. James Wallace. And he has a local podcast called The Cal Report. He's a young man getting started, and I was just so impressed with him. And I just wanted to encourage him and give him an opportunity to share with us. It's just impossible to comprehend how bad the bills are in Sacramento that are actually not only being submitted and presented, but passed. And what I can't help but wonder is, don't these people that are voting in Sacramento have grandchildren or children of their own?
Some of them do, but they are afraid to go against the Democrats. I was lobbying there one time and I spoke to this Democrat legislator, and she said, I totally agree with everything you've told me, but if I dared to vote against this bill, I would never be able to get anything passed, anything that I wanted. So they just have to work together, lock, stock, and barrel, all these Democrats, and they outnumber Republicans so much. It's just terrible. Well, how would it be, David Prine, would you be so kind to give us a closing prayer?
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Dear Father, we just thank you for this time and for Patrick Wood for all the work he's done and for sharing, and for Orlene Kurla for all the work she's done. And we pray that you just guide us in the future with our future plans. We pray that you bless this Constitution celebration that they're working on, and our future meetings, and just guide us with our future decisions. And we pray that we can help California to get better, and help guide us as we have all these challenging things ahead of us, and help us in our local communities to know where we can fight and how we can fight back. In Jesus' name, amen.
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 Thank you, David. Thank you all who joined us and for your comments. It was amazing what amazing, great comments were coming through in the chat room. And again, thank you to Patrick. He may has already have left us, but he was absolutely remarkable with the information he has and all that he has been fighting and doing. Please check out his website and all of the articles he's written about technocracy over these many years. And I highly recommend you getting some of his books. I think I have all 4. I was trying to find them to show them tonight, but I probably have loaned them out. I'm not sure, or they're in some hidden place. Again, thank you for joining us, and we wish you well and hope to see you all at our next webinar. Always look for the link. It'll be up on our website. Again, our website is eagleforumca.us, and then you /events, and that's where you'll find it. Thanks again.
God bless you.
God
Thank
bless
you,
you.
Arlene. Love you.
Love you all,
Thank you,
even though they
Arlene.
haven't met. Thank you for joining us.
Good night, everyone.
Bye-bye.